be jumping in here. I actually really like this voice chat option. So, and I believe this is being recorded as well. As far as, let me see here.
Now we can see you too.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, if you guys aren't speaking, I'd say let's keep the cameras off just so we don't distract. Right? Let Cassie and Mike have theirs on.
Well, I think that
Right.
whatever works for you guys. So Rambo can't hear anything.
Either way, I'm happy.
Yeah, voice chat is wonderful. So as far as questions, Mike, should we have them just post the questions in the chat?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, I'll monitor the chat, and any new questions that come up, we'll address them.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'm gonna give it another 2 minutes.
I'm rocking a Bit Boy Gucci t-shirt as well, by the way. Mine's not as expensive as his was, though.
It's a signature. So he's supposed to be jumping in as well. I think he has a flight to catch at 1:30, so he won't be here for the full hour. And I apologize in advance for my keyboard. I have a mechanical keyboard, and this thing is so loud. I'll be taking notes as we go. 106. All right, so I have all of the questions that were submitted via the document. Thank you to everyone who did. There's a lot going on, and I mean, even just from our division meeting yesterday, it ended up, the notes and all the updates and everything ended up taking up 2 full Telegram messages. Like, it cut it off when I was putting it together. So there's a lot of information to go over.
That was a really good session, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
A lot of great ideas pinging round, and some interesting community engagement initiatives coming along as well. So keep your eyes peeled for them.
Yes, and I'm excited to start doing those more regularly. That was our first real opportunity to go over a lot of things as a group. All right, so I let Ben know that we've started, and he's getting on right now. So I've been fighting a bug since we got back from Dubai. Oh, there he is.
There's the boss man.
Ben, can you hear us?
Pretty sketchy, to be honest with you, with headphones and things like that, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems pretty sensitive.
Yeah. Looks like he's muted.
I'll tell him. It's so much easier to do this when we're in the office.
Right.
I'm always pulling him in from while he's traveling and stuff and trying to bring him into stuff.
Yes.
It's on the struggle bus. Okay. Hey, there you are.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Dude, I got a year and a half.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll just get started. All right, so I'm just going to go down the list. I didn't have a chance to go through and organize all of these. Obviously, I won't go over duplicates more than once, but basically what we want to do, and the reason for this AMA, originally we were going to do regular weekly Twitter spaces, but we wanted to be something consistent, that you guys can always look forward to and you can plan your schedule around if needed. And that's been very difficult just with everything going on. Everyone, I assume everyone here is familiar with how, what was that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, can you hear me? Okay,
you're kind of low.
hold on. Is that better?
Yes, you had them on backwards.
No, everybody disappeared.
We do have a scheduled departure time of 10:55 a.m. Getting to San Francisco at 12:13.
Why is it like this?
1 hour, 18 minutes from.
Wait, can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I did have them backwards. You need to remember which side it's on. Okay, so when the knobs are on the right side. Okay. Are you guys doing well? I'm here now. I can hear. I had issues with my AirPods at first, but I'm on now. I'm here for you.
Yes. No, thank you for coming. I know you're traveling a lot right now.
Yep.
So I shared the questions with you via Google Sheets in your, so you have them in there. If you have anything you'd
I
like
can't
to
be
say.
on here and see those at the same time.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy to read them off, and then people I'm
Stop
sure
being so
will also be
difficult,
posting
Stop being so difficult.
questions in chat. So the first question that we got here, and it comes up a few times, is about the Bybit listing. So we did not get 800 signups for the Bybit listing. The competition in order,
I think we got 25. That's how bad
yeah,
it was.
we didn't get very many, and the competition in order to get listed by Bybit required that we either win or we get those 800 signups plus deposits. So each of the signups also had to deposit $100 into the account. So the thing with Bybit, and I don't even really remember, I think Bybit actually approached us for that competition. That is not something that we sought out. And I mean, how long have we had this project now, Ben?
Since the middle of, actually, it's the end of May. So we've had
End of
about
May.
6 weeks
Okay.
total, maybe somewhere around there.
Okay, so about 6 weeks. Okay, so, and I'll get into this a little bit more later because I feel transparency is really important. Obviously, this was not a project we planned to ever have. It just kind of happened very quickly, and it was purchased because we were concerned that people who had purchased Ben were going to get rugged by the former owner. So we bought this to protect people and to turn it into something bigger. Now, there's a lot that goes into a crypto project. If we'd had 3 months or even 6 weeks to plan this out, things would be running a lot smoother. But because we literally hit the ground running, and we're pulling all of this together as we go. I'm pretty sure Bybit contacted us about the buy votes. And if I had known, so back in May, on May 8th, Bybit changed their KYC requirements. So if you were in the US, you couldn't use their platform anymore. And so in my opinion, we never should have even been in that competition. I think that was their way of, in the past, Ben was one of their top affiliates, and they were really pushing us to I was talking to someone over there about marketing, and she was really pushing us to have Ben talk about Bybit on his channel. And I think that was their way of kind of trying to get free marketing out of him. in retrospect, yeah, we shouldn't have been in that competition. And moving forward, when it comes to exchange listings, we do intend to apply for, the KuCoin listing, in part because it has been announced to the community. And KuCoin is a great, it's a great platform. But I do want to set the expectation that our focus is not going to be on getting listed on these exchanges. Like, we're building something so much bigger than, and I understand, the price stresses people out. And I also realize it's, when you go on Twitter, it's like, oh, exchange listings. There's all this hype around things that really don't mean anything. Just because your coin is listed on an exchange doesn't mean it's worth anything. I think Pepe was just listed on Bybit. So Pepe too was just listed on Bybit. So it's not like getting listed on an exchange legitimizes the project. As we build this,
one thing I'd like to say is, guys, if we go back and we look at the all-time high, when we look at the all-time high was the day that we got listed on BitGet. Now, it was not after the BitGet listing; it was before the BitGet listing that we actually hit the all-time high. Guys, I love BitGet. BitGet's awesome. I love those people over there. We went and did a party with them in Dubai. They're absolutely phenomenal. They've already inquired about helping with the Dubai yacht party stuff. So they're really excited about being involved in anything we're involved in. Okay. However, like from an objective standpoint, that listing did literally nothing for us except for provide a place where people can go and dump the coins. And I think that, what it boils down to is, I just gotta be honest with you guys, a lot of you have a fundamental misunderstanding of what makes the price go up of a coin. Getting listed on an exchange and providing liquidity on a centralized exchange is not going to make the price move. Now, if a Binance listing or a Coinbase listing, okay, fair, but they're going to approach you. You're never going to be able to approach them and get on those. So our job is to build out everything and to build the infrastructure and to focus on the actual project. And that way, when things do get to a good place and they're ready to list us, we can go ahead and do that. So, like Cassie said, we are going to try to get on KuCoin. I love KuCoin. I think it's a great exchange. But just remember, guys, these exchange listings don't do what you think. A lot of you are still living like in 2020. Okay, in 2020, you got an exchange listing. Ooh, things went way up. But the problem is that now we have so many decentralized exchange options that a lot of the volume, the real volume, not the watch trading volume, is on the DEXs. And so the DEXs is what helps us get liquidity profits, which helps us move the project along. So we just want to encourage everybody, be focused on the DEXs. That's where you should be doing your trading. And that's where we're going to get a lot more exposure. I mean, the DEX volume compared to centralized exchange volume is up tremendously. And when you look at Bybit doing KYC, KuCoin announced they're doing KYC as well. Guys, you're living in a world where we're not going to be able to use, or especially from America, use these centralized exchanges almost at all. So that's really where everybody's focus should be. I think a bigger problem that we have is the Uniswap problem, where they still won't update our logo. I think that's a problem.
Yeah. And that's actually one of the questions that comes up here as well. Well, and the other thing there too with the centralized exchange is we're building out a DApp, and the community platform that we're going to be building is one of the main things that I love about it is we'll be able to basically incentivize holders that are, there's so many people in this room come in and I see your names every day, and whether you're hyping or you're stressed about the price or whatever, like that dedication is there. And we want to give you guys somewhere to live, if you will, right? A community platform that's not on Telegram and not on Discord, where all the scams are, and a safe place where we can onboard people into crypto, where they can learn about crypto. And I mean, you'll be able to earn BenCoin for watching videos or for interacting or for sharing posts on Twitter or something. Because I know there's so many out of you in this chat and in the raid chat too that go out and you're active and you're posting and you're creating content. And I feel like that's a big, this is a grassroots movement. We need everyone. And so being able to, kind of customize experience and really make it where we can provide benefits to you for participating in the ecosystem is huge. And that's going to be decentralized. That's not going to be on any centralized exchange. And there's also issues with, just with everything going on with regulation, and it's not unheard of for centralized exchanges to dump tokens.
Mhm.
You know, we don't really want to be
So it's not only
giving.
not unheard of, it's common. That's what they do.
Yeah, so we don't.
Bybit was going to dump a ton of our tokens when they got on. Just you guys need to understand that Bybit is notorious for it.
Yeah. So, so to answer the question, no, we didn't get the signups, but there's plenty to be excited about.
Speaking
The
of
next
exciting,
question.
real quick, are they able to interact at all here or no?
And they
There was one guy who said he was going to propose to you, and I want to know which guy that was.
I'm not sure.
Who in the chat is trying to marry Cassie? If they could go and raise their hand, that would be great.
I don't think there's a
No.
hand raising function.
They're not in here. They're shy.
Yeah. So everyone who's listening could technically, I think everybody could speak if they wanted to. I can't see the actual chat anymore though. So hopefully I'm not missing any questions.
I can see the chat.
Can you? Maybe it's my
Actually, there's like 7 people saying it's them. So
okay.
Choose wisely.
I will choose wisely.
So I need to mute the background because I'm at the airport. So when I talk, I'll unmute.
Okay. So also there are questions about the DEX tools. So DEX tools does need to be updated. We've been dealing with an issue internally just in terms of having access to the email address that was passed over when we acquired the coin. We did get that resolved. So the team is currently scouring the internet for platforms, exchanges, whatever, that have old information, whether it's the logo or the website, or, we've had to change so many things over recently. All of that should be updated, I think, by the end of the month. Assuming there are no, I guess every place has their own processing time, but that's something that we are working on because that has been an active issue.
Yeah, that's something that, like, it seems like everybody's like, oh, just change it here, just change it there. Like, that's not how this works, guys. Like, there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through. And then even after you do all the hoops, you got to wait for them to update on their end. And then even after they update, you have to clear your cache and reset your browser to even see the changes. So just know this is not something that we've been like sitting around like not worried about. It's like it's a hurry up and wait issue. So we've been active, and then it's kind of like we made so many changes at one time. Like we got to let all of those take place before we can look and say, okay, this one didn't go through. We still need to attack this one. So we're hoping the next month all that'll be straightened out. But just trust me, guys, we're working on it.
And once we've submitted the info to those places, we will let you guys know. So if after a certain point we're still seeing the same issues on these websites, then we can go back and address. All right.
We just need to understand a little bit as well the battle, the challenge that we had actually trying to get hold of the majority of the assets during the transfer as well, because it wasn't just here's the money and here's everything. We've had to sort of fight behind the scenes to get access to all of these back end systems and passwords, usernames, email addresses, and things like that as well. So it's done, which means we can move forward now.
Yes. And also, semi-related to that, so we're currently having the contract audited right now, and someone had shared like a screenshot from the preliminary view said that the contract has not been renounced. So the team that we purchased this coin from was not the most.
They had no idea what they were doing. Let's just say it. They had no idea what they were doing.
Yes, they had no idea what they were doing. So while the contract is not technically renounced, like within the definition of that, it functions as if it was renounced. There is not an owner, and the owner, there's no permissions. So that's another thing that
I would just like to say, like, this is yet another reason why I'm heavily in favor of a V2 smart contract. And I know a lot of people in the chat don't like it. And I know we've asked the question several times and people don't. These are the types of holdover issues, the hangover issues that are always going to be there because we're working off of the contract that a scammer made, right? Like someone who has no idea what he's doing, someone who has yet not built a single thing that works at all, continues to take money from people. Even the things that he had that were kind of successful have fallen by the wayside, like the orange square thing. And for us to really move forward and completely move past the old leadership, like a V2 smart contract will allow us to do that. And it will allow us to do this issue where we can, like we can take ownership of the new contract and we don't have to worry about, that even though there's nothing he can do with this, whenever anybody looks at smart contract audit up, it's going to say not renounced. Because factually, it's not renounced, even though there was never any true ownership to it. Because it was meant to be a meme coin, which means it wasn't going to do anything. So since it wasn't going to do anything, you didn't have to have any bells and whistles. It's even ridiculous we have to get it audited because it's not even code. Like there's nothing to this thing. So I just want you guys to continue to think about that. Like we're not going to go against the wishes of the community. I know a lot of people are against doing the V2 contract, but what I would like to do is I would like to create a proposal that has all the details of what we would like to do. And then maybe once we have all the details of that and it'll be beneficial for the holders. I know another thing I would like to do is, we said that we're not going to mess with the supply. And when we say we're not going to mess with the supply, what we mean by that is we're not going to ever increase the supply or mint new tokens. But I know a lot of people would be in favor of us decreasing the supply. I would love to decrease the supply because it makes your token technically more valuable. That's not why we would be doing it. It's just the supply is so ridiculously high. So if we reduce the supply by, let's say, 10x, then your coins would decrease by 10x, but they would have the exact same value. And then over time, since we have less coins, it would actually be worth more. So, I think there are a lot of favorable things that we could do in a V2 smart contract, and we could get rid of all of these issues. They would just be completely dead, and we can build in some of the utility that we want to build on top as well. So once again, if everybody's against it, if we do not have a majority that are in favor of a V2 smart contract, then we will not do it. But I want you guys to continue to think about it because I know we approached this issue like about 3 weeks ago and everybody voted no. It was like 40%. But a lot of people wanted details. We didn't have details at that time. And I said, okay, well, this is it. We won't approach this issue again. However, now we're running into problems again based on the low IQ that created that smart contract. So this is going to be continual FUD that's going to be forever. Whenever anybody looks up the smart contract audit, they're going to see contract was not renounced. And if you're naive to the way that contracts work, and you're like someone just thinking like, maybe I'll get into this coin, but let me do a little research and go look at the smart contract, that's going to be enough to scare people away. So, that's where I land on that issue.
And if I may, Cassie, if I may, I was
ahead.
looking at, this is Crypto Hodler, sorry to interrupt, but I was just watching the chat and it looks like the majority are with it now, Ben. I think it's time for another poll to see, because I think people understand now that that is a ridiculous amount, and reducing that amount, especially when we, well, I won't say anything about other utilities, but if we do bring other utilities in and we have the perfect amount of tokens, that really benefits. I mean, I've been through migrations with other projects and they're seamless, they're flawless, and it does benefit us in the end. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah, nobody's going to be losing any money. Nobody's going to be losing any coins. We're going to do it's going to be not necessarily a 1-for-1 because we would probably be decreasing the supply, but you're going to get the same percentage. You're going to have the exact same percentage of the coins that you have right now, which means the value is going to be the exact same. And when we decrease the supply, it'll actually be worth more. So what I think the best route from here, guys, is let's spend this week, Cassie, talking with Russ and figuring out what a V2 contract would look like and how we could build that out. And then let's say 1 to 2 weeks from now, let's do another live AMA where we go over the entire contract and show people all the changes. And then we can do the vote towards the end of the AMA. That way that the people that are voting are people that have all the information.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. What I would like to do in addition to that is kind of, I've been working on the build out for kind of like the ecosystem and how everything is supposed to work together when it comes to building the foundation of what we're doing. And what I would like to do in addition to that, instead of just saying like, hey guys, like, how do you feel about the V2 contract now? Is include some information as far as like, these are some additional things we would be able to do if we did have this, and these are the problems that would be solved if we did this. Because I think having, I think having, we would have so many more options and so many less problems.
Yeah, we don't have true ownership of the contract. What we have is like, let's say you went to buy a house, okay, and you went to buy a house, the house is already built. But part of the stipulations of you buying this house and living in it is, okay, you can buy the house, you can live in it, but you can never make a change to it. You can never make a change to the house. Oh, well, it's a great house right now. Okay, cool. Like right now, it's a great house. But 2 to 3 years from now, what happens if we want to expand or we want to do a remodel and we can't? That's what we're facing with not having the ownership of the contract. So that's a pretty good comparison to help people understand. Like, our hands are tied with what we can do with a V2 contract. Now all the options are open to us.
Well, and part of that too is, guys, is updating the logo and the socials on these platforms, because you have to prove, essentially, not with all of them, but it's like they're like, yeah, log in, like you have to validate that you're the owner of the contract. And so it makes it so much harder. I mean, there's like workarounds for some of them, but it's so time consuming, and yeah, it just doesn't make sense. So yes, so I will work on the V2 proposal. We will get that up. I think maybe as a type form, I'm thinking, or maybe just a full.
Let's
talk
just plan
about.
on like 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks
Okay.
is probably. Will I be here in 2 weeks? Where will I be in 2 weeks? Yes, I will be in town in 2 weeks. So let's give it 2 weeks to build it out, and we're not going to actually make the contract in the 2 weeks. I mean, maybe I don't know how easy it is to do for us, but what we're going to do is we're going to outline exactly what it's going to contain. And then one thing that's really important to the community is that everything's seamless and automatic, and it gets airdropped, and nobody's got to go claim anything and stuff like that. So we can work on that as well. So, and then with the airdrops, to be a lot of airdrop, we might be able to use Arbitrum or something like that to get it done. But, yeah, so we'll work on that.
Okay, perfect. So next question. How is the team streamlining partnerships moving forward? For a coin that is relatively new, there have been a few missteps in terms of partnerships, Loyal, Fiddy, Borovic. So that's a great question. I will say this has been a learning experience. Initially, or at least, I mean, I can speak on, for myself, it was a struggle. The first month was the most difficult for me, in part because we took on the project and it's like suddenly we got to make something out of it. And I've got so much that you guys don't have access to right now as far as the build out. Like, this is going to be huge. But as far as public news, that's not really stuff that we can talk about on Twitter. There hasn't been a lot of that. And Fiddy, I believe, had approached us about it. And maintaining the Twitter has not been a strong suit for me throughout all of this. I'll be honest, like, Twitter's kind of the last priority on my list. And so he offered to step in and help with the Twitter and do the Twitter spaces and do all this stuff, and everything seems, great. And so that's why he was brought on as an advisor. Following that, there were some questions, and I had some concerns about some of the things that were going on. And so those two are no longer advisors on this. We have three phenomenal advisors that are very well qualified. And something that I've learned is, it's kind of interesting, actually, since I've been working with Ben, I've learned it, is people that approach us are typically not the people that we want to be working with. Because, well, people that approach Ben, because they usually have bad intentions on some level or another. So with partnerships...
Everyone that approaches Cassie has great intentions. I'm watching the chat.
So in relation to partnerships, okay, and I'm also going to address Dubai Coin, because that has been coming up. And basically the way we're going to structure partnerships, so we're pro crypto, right? We are a pro crypto organization. We don't hate any other coins, right? Yes, there are some coins that are more legitimate. They have long-term plans. They have like a roadmap. They have all this stuff. There are also meme coins. Unfortunately, meme coins make up a large percentage of the market, right? So when it comes to partnerships, any partnership that we have, and I use the term partnership loosely because we're going to have more casual partnerships and then we will have integrated partnerships. The casual partnerships are mostly going to be meme coins. Now, there's still going to be a vetting process there, but if there's a project that wants some kind of exposure through Ben or through BenCoin, we'll make sure that Ben holders are going to be receiving some value out of that. So it's not just like, I know people make comments like, oh, Ben's tweeting about another coin. To some degree, I mean, Ben's job, with YouTube is he talks about a lot of other coins. With Dubai Coin specifically, part of the reason that we're semi working with them, I mean, again, not an active relationship. This is more casual. Ben is going to be speaking at the yacht party next month, and they want to support BenCoin. So they'll be using a percentage of the pre-sale money to buy Ben off the market. And that'll go into the foundation, and then I think another like 2.5% will go to airdrop Ben to Dubai Coin holders. Now, I have a call with Wolfie today, and I'm going to talk to him about some other additional benefits. I think ideally what I want to put together is just like very easy, like these are the partnership requirements. So when somebody approaches us and they want a partnership, I can just say here and give it to them. And it's up to them to meet those requirements instead of, there's a lot of back and forth right now. And it's really important to me that I streamline this because you guys would not believe how much time I spend sitting behind this computer. But so the conversation I'm going to have with Wolfie, I will keep you guys updated on that. When it comes to meme coins, I know there's also concern about, Ben or the BenCoin page posting about a coin and then Ben holders selling their coins to go buy that coin. Please don't do that. Obviously, they're willing to help us, and so we're willing to help them because they're supporting us and you guys. But I wouldn't do that. What I want to get set up is any meme coin we work with will be providing like a chunk of coins that Ben holders can then stake. Well, they can stake their Ben on the staking platform and earn those coins. So you guys will also have exposure to whatever that project is. We're still working out the details there. Feedback appreciated if you have any. And then when it comes to legitimate partnerships, we're talking with some not Web3 companies, and I think you guys will like what we've got lined up. But that's all I can say for now.
Yeah, it may be a little loud here. I'll chat away, but I just want to say like a couple things about what happened.
I can't remember. That's before the turmoil I had throughout the night.
It was
Number one is
when she got home.
well,
Who, the mother? Yeah.
When the mother
Oh yeah,
got
that's right.
home.
You said the phone rang again.
Yeah, and
Go ahead, Ben.
okay, all right, this is much better. You guys have to remember, number one, when it comes like I see so many people in the chat and the comments saying things like, "Hey, why is Ben talking about this other coin?" And I know a lot of you guys would like it if that was all that I did was talk about BenCoin, but I literally can't do that. That's my job is to talk about the entire crypto world. And what you have to understand is that the power in our channel, the power of the influence, like the power of BenCoin is really driven by my channel. And when you think about that, part of that is the fact that we are talking about so many coins and we do cast a very wide net. And because we cast a very wide net, that's what allows us to have the influence that we do. So if you want me to turn into a BenCoin channel, and that's what we talk about inside BenCoin, then we will lose every bit of influence that we have. And so that's not going to be an effective strategy. So that's first and foremost. I wish people would stop saying like, Ben needs to stop talking about this coin. If I stop talking about other coins, we go to zero. So, it's definitely something that we need to do. Number two, I touched on Dubai Coin. I just want to reiterate what Cassie was saying about that. And one of those things is that we met Wolfie in person, like we know him in person. This is not somebody that we don't know that's behind this and doing this. He's somebody that we really, really like, and we believe has good intentions behind everything he's doing, and he's willing to work with us to continue to provide more benefits for Bitcoin holders. So it's just one of these things where it's going to be great exposure to us. Bitcoin is going to get the Bitcoin holders are going to get some benefits, and people saying like, oh, but if he airdrops, why would we drop Bitcoin to Dubai coin holders? That doesn't make any sense. They're just going to sell. Okay, well, keep in mind, a lot of those holders are still going to be Bitcoin holders already. But number two, even if 75% of those people sell their coins, that's 25% of those people that are holding Bitcoin now. It's still a net positive. It's not like they're all going to sell. They're going to be bought on the open market. So it's going to be a benefit regardless. The other thing I would say is that one thing I would like to see, I would people say, oh, well, why don't you drop Dubai coin to Bitcoin holders? Okay, well, we can maybe look at doing something like that. But the problem is that you're not going to get anything. Like if we just airdrop Dubai coin holders, like let's say we take 5% of the Dubai supply and we give it all to Bitcoin holders, you're not going to get very much money individually. So one thing that I would like Cassie to talk to Wolfie about, one thing we can maybe look at is if you own a certain amount, like maybe if you own 10 billion coins, you qualify for an airdrop or something like that. That could be something that we could consider. But I just want everybody to understand, like we are approaching that. There's a reason why we're working with him on this. We think it's going to be great exposure for Bitcoin. And here's what you guys have to think about, okay? Wolfie's already reached out to 23 exchanges. He's the one who organized the partnership where we work with Elite Cars, where you can now buy a sports car with Bitcoin, which people laugh at right now. In 2 years, people are not going to be laughing at that, okay? So he's the one that established that. There's several other companies that he has over in Dubai that work with. He works with a major bank. Like, there are a lot of things he's going to be bringing to the table. BitGet has already said they're going to be involved. They want to be at the party. So we're already going to be on the yacht party with tons of big people in crypto, tons of companies in crypto. Binance has even responded to him about possible sponsorship. So just think about I'm on this yacht with all of these important players in crypto. That is very beneficial, along with all of the just high net worth individuals that will be there for the yacht party. So we think it's a win-win all the way around for us, and we understand there is some skepticism around it, but this is not Wolfie's not Ben.eth is what I'll tell you guys. So
Yeah, Wolfie's great. He's a great guy. I think I have a video somewhere of him. We were at dinner trying to feed Ben food that Ben does not eat, and it was a good time. It was funny. Okay, so the Dubai trip. I would like to know the outcome of Ben specifically in relation to the Dubai trip, mainly in the areas of the royal family, government meeting, and BitBoy potentially moving his business operations to UAE and potential UAE investors. I understand that you may not be able to give full details, and I respect that. Thank you for whatever information you're able to tell the community, as I'm sure this is one of the major questions for Ben that the community is extremely excited about hearing. Do you want to start that, Ben? Or do you want me to
sure.
answer?
I can answer. So what you have to understand is when you're talking about the government and the royal family over there in Dubai, you're talking about a lot of crossover between the same people. We certainly did have some meetings with people directly from the royal family. There were a couple of those that did fall through just because of timing, because we ended up having one meeting and we weren't able to get to the other one. And the meeting we had actually ended up being very good. We ended up getting one of our advisors from that meeting. But we do have the government connections, and I've been in touch with the head of the DMCC, who signs off on business licenses for Dubai. They're begging us to go there, by the way. Dubai is begging me to move over there, whether it's the business or whether it's me personally, which we're looking at all those options, actually. But I have a meeting coming up. I still have to schedule it. It'll be sometime this week with the head of the DMCC. What they're going to be doing is they're going to be working with us in the short term on creating a page on the BenCoin website that literally shows people how to go through the process of moving your business over to Dubai or moving over to Dubai, because there is a process to it. There are some fees, but once you get over there, there's no taxes. It's definitely beneficial. But yeah, so that was our meeting with the government. That was our meeting with the royal family. Once again, it was more about us coming over there than anything else. But like I said, we do have some big investors coming into BenCoin. We had to get the market makers straight, so we're not allowed to say who those investors are. But there are some big ones that were some. I'll just say were some. What's the word I'm looking for? Some rewards, some benefits, some results, some consequences of some of these meetings.
Great answer. So, and in relation to, did we get everything? Dubai is a different world. If you haven't been there, if you ever have the opportunity to go there, I recommend it because so we were in back-to-back meetings the entire time we were there. And it was very, I was doing back-to-back meetings here in preparation for going to Dubai, and it was a lot, but it was very productive. It was quite the reality check when we got stuck in New York when we got back. Like, I swear, all I heard were sirens. I didn't hear a single siren in Dubai. And the people over there who are active in crypto, it's not people, I mean, they treat it as a business. The community is small enough that you can't go over there and scam people and get away with it. It's very professional. And I feel like a lot of the people that we met with over there really appreciate the value and recognize where this technology is going. And so we'll definitely be over there. I imagine a few more times in the next year, if the move doesn't happen before then.
Well, I think no matter what, we're moving part of the business over there probably within the next year. I don't know exactly when. I got to look at prices and stuff like that. Obviously, this stuff costs money; it's not free. I can tell you for sure that within the next 1 year, we will have some type of BenCoin or BitBoy crypto office or Hit Network office, however we want to name it over there, popping into Dubai. I think probably what's going to end up happening is no matter what, I'm probably going to spend at least 2 to 4 months in Dubai a year. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, very exciting. I'm close to holding 1 trillion Ben. What benefits would Ben Whale see in the future? Also, where's the safest place to store my Ben? So if you have 1 trillion Ben, we do have a whale group. There's an application to join. If you ping one of the moderators in the chat, they can direct you to the application. You do have to verify your holdings with a transaction. But as the community grows, ideally we get to a place where, once we get all this structural stuff built out, I'll be able to spend more time in the community because I love talking to you guys. But as far as, I'm sure we'll work out some well benefits. Right now, the main thing is having access to myself when I'm in and the moderators in a more private chat. That's the biggest one, I would say.
It's a different level of investor as well. And this is no disrespect or shade to the whole community, but if you're investing $7,500,000 in a project, this is a space where you can speak to people that have invested similar amounts and discuss, not just Ben, the guys are chatting about anything and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly. Why is Ben not going up? Is essentially the question.
I am. Do you guys not see I'm on a plane right now?
Ha 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 ha. That's a good answer. Well, yeah, I feel like we've kind of covered that. The big thing and this has been mentioned several times in the chat, the market maker is the big thing right now that we're trying to get nailed down. I think in the next week, that should be solid. As Ben mentioned, like we did talk to some investors over in Dubai. They're going to be making market buys. These are not OTC deals. So you will see the results of these buys. They will be very obvious. The notification will pop up in Telegram with all the coins and everything, so that's going to happen. It's just, we got to get the market maker in place first. How can we ensure that we won't be used as exit liquidity? They're not used. Okay, so we cannot ensure that the investors won't be used as exit liquidity for the sellers holding us down. I will say that these deals, I feel pretty confident in saying.
The term exit liquidity is a stupid term. It was built for people that are complainers and built for people that lose on trades, so they can have something to play. The fact is, on every single transaction, there's a buy and there is a sell. If they're using you as exit liquidity, then that's not a long-term strategy. That's not really going to work for a lot of people. The term exit liquidity came up because people always blame YouTubers for pumping numbers. That's all that is, guys. There are buys and there are sells. Look, I talked to the guy that was selling massive amounts, who was trading nonstop. I talked to him and I said, look, here's the facts. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to trade. Guys, you're allowed to buy at any point. You're allowed to sell at any point. So the holders being sitting here like saying, oh, we're going to be exit liquidity. Do you know what exit liquidity is for? It's for meme coins. That's what it's for. We're building something over the long term. So even if someone does sell and get out of the market, then good. That's more coins that are available for people that are going to stick and hold by for the long term. So, just guys, one of the best pieces of advice that was ever given to me in crypto was stop believing memes and do the research for yourself. Whenever people use the term exit liquidity, it just shows me you're just believing in memes. There are going to be people that are going to sell at different points. If somebody comes in when the price is at 0.000049 and the price goes up to 0.00007, they made a lot of money. Why would traders not want to take those profits? So it's just one of these things, guys. You just have to understand, this is the way that a market works. A market is not about diamond hands, right? You have diamond hands in a project because you believe in the long term it's going to go way up over 5, 10, 2, 3, whatever many years, right? But if you don't have that faith, then of course you're going to come in, you're going to buy, and you're going to sell. It's not that big of a deal. So, and even if somebody comes in and they sell 10 trillion coins and the price drops by 20% or whatever it is, guys, we're still building for the long term, and we're not even to the bull run yet. So when we start getting to the top of the bull run, then you might be worried about, oh God, these people are massively selling because they're getting out of the market, because they're worried the market is going to change, not the project.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Well, and also, like Ben said, we're building something for the long term, and there are other things that we've discussed as far as the tokenomics. When it comes to partnerships, we could have a requirement that a company that wants to partner with us has to purchase and hold. It could even be vested a certain number of BenCoins. Like, Ben's platform and who he is as a public figure gives us so many more options when it comes to building out, because he has more exposure than anybody else in crypto. This is one of the only projects that, at least that I'm aware of, where the team is doxxed. Even our moderators. And so there's a lot of options that we can work with there. But yeah, this is a long-term project. So I wouldn't focus too much on the numbers. If you're a trader, I understand, but there's plenty coming. It's honestly that seeing the price where it is now, I've been buying. I don't have team tokens. I buy off the market too. And so I've been doubling down lately.
You should put an address and let people donate BenCoin to you. I'm sure they would do it instead of proposing.
we were actually talking about that yesterday, and not that specifically, but we're talking about that in the meeting yesterday, because also, yeah, guys, if you receive a message from someone who looks like they're a moderator asking for money, do not send them money, please. A fake Davey approached me and asked for Ethereum, and apparently people have been actually giving this guy money. And yeah, so don't do that. We did talk about like tip wallets or something though. All right. Oh, and Ben, actually, backtrack. Where's the safest place to store Ben? I don't know much about cold wallets.
Mm-hmm. Look, here's the fact, guys. There is no way. There is no one way that you should store all of your crypto. That's kind of like that's a low IQ approach to the custody. You should spread it out across many different places. So obviously a hardware wallet is going to be good. Ledger is still good. Basically we don't like the philosophy behind what they said with the potential backdoor they could build in with new firmware, but I understood what they were saying. But Trezor is where Ledger actually got the code from. You have SafeKey, BitKey. You have several good hardware wallets. EliPal is another one. And then what is the? I cannot remember. There's another one that's really good. I can't remember the name of it right now. But those are just hardware wallets. Even if you have a hardware wallet, you still shouldn't put 100% of your crypto on that one hardware wallet. Spread it out over other hot wallets as well. So Trust Wallet, the Coinbase wallet, Exodus. These are all good wallets. Just remember, there's no one approach to custody that is the best, except for this. The very best possible way to store your crypto is a diverse strategy for storing your crypto.
I should probably diversify more. For sure. All right, so sustainability in the future. How do you see Ben in the future? Not market cap, but when people talk about it 5 or more years from now. So I'm going to share, we're going to be much better about announcements moving forward. We do have a social media team that we just brought on that'll be more active on Twitter. The division leaders, which are the moderators here in Telegram, are going to be helping me put together some community engagement, just different things we could do during the week, something to pull people's attention away from the price, because this is a long-term build. We want to build a community. We want to get to know you as people. It would be nice at some point to, and actually I saw this mentioned in the chat, at some point we're going to be focusing on like in real life meetups, like community meetups, trying to link people that are in the same areas so we can get people together and get this thing rolling. In 5 years from now, I think Ben is going to be a household name. That's how I view what we're building. We are at the prime point politically, economically, like everything is so perfect right now to push crypto adoption. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Now, as far as building that out, I will share that with you guys probably next week. Well, depending on the V2. We got to get the V2 figured out. But it's going to be a household name. We're going to be bringing people on left and right. We're addressing all the issues that I've personally encountered when it comes to trying to onboard people into crypto. The biggest thing is the learning curve, and being able to talk to people. It's kind of isolating when you're in this world, because for me, like, I live in this bubble. Everybody I talk to day to day, whether it's work, and some of my friends are in crypto. But at one point when I first got into crypto, none of my friends were into crypto. I had nobody to talk to except for, just people in Telegram chats and, other community members and coins I was in. We need to change that. We need to, I can't even talk to my family about crypto. And even if they were open to it, it's like, where do you send them to learn anything? So we're going to be addressing that issue. Ben, did you want to chime in?
I'm just in the chat. I'm in the chat looking at people talking about the B2 smart contract. If you did not listen to the conversation earlier about that, you're not allowed to comment. Like that's it. Because what's happening is now people didn't listen to the conversation. Now they're coming in and they're complaining and they're fighting and they're blah blah blah. If you listen to the conversation, then you're allowed to comment. If not, then just don't say anything because you didn't hear the conversation. So we're going to approach the subject in about 2 weeks, like we said before. And I think what Cassie says is correct, is that we're building this for the long term. Like, we're not ready to really be marketing right now. That's the truth of the matter, because obviously we have a big platform, a big channel. Like, we're able to market kind of anyways, but we're not ready for that yet, because we are building this for the ultra mega long term, and we are going to be the force behind crypto adoption. So I think that overall. Oh, okay. Yeah, Kat. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Did you get yelled at?
Yeah. No. Somebody asked that I was going to get up at my seat. She said she was on clock. Okay. That's all. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, there's some questions in the chat. I think just to stay on track, and Ben is also going to have to go soon. I will come back around and answer these. And following this, instead of doing transcripts, because there is a lot of, it's going to be going to be a long, we're already at about an hour. I will put together a summary of this AMA that people can go back and read, especially when it comes to the V2. Like, you guys have, like, if you want to be involved, we want people to be involved. We want the community to provide their opinions, right? But like, you have to work with us here. Like, you have to pay attention.
And I think one thing to keep in mind, guys, is this is a community project, right? Like, eventually down the road, who knows, maybe 6 to 8 years, like, we'd love to move this to a DAO. But we're not even close to ready to even have those conversations yet. But we want this to be a community coin. However, look, guys, I just got to say what needs to be said here. I've been in crypto for 11 years. I was in crypto before, you guys had ever even heard of it being anything. Most of it, right? 95% of you probably. And there are going to be things, there are going to be things that we're going to ask for community involvement and input on. But at the end of the day, we know best. We know what's best for that. And we're not going to tie anybody's arm down or twist anybody's arm and say, we must do it this way. We're going to have conversations, and we're going to try to coach you guys through and explain why we want to do certain things. And we're going to try to win you guys on board with those things. But the fact is, if you had been around crypto for 11 years, you probably wouldn't be in here because you would already be a millionaire, and you wouldn't even need to be investing in a smaller coin like BenCoin. Well, I mean, still, if you understand the potential, it doesn't matter if you have a lot of money or not. I mean, it's still a project with a ton of potential. But like I said, the fact is, you guys have to learn to lean on us, those of us that have been in crypto for so long, on some of these things that are, like back to the exchange listing thing. Like, I want to do a video soon where I actually show the negative effects of exchange listings and how it actually hurts coins in a world where everything's decentralized. And yet so many of you are counting on exchange listings to be the thing that's going to move this project forward. That is so far from reality that it's not even funny. And we've got to talk through these conversations and show you guys evidence of those things to show you that we're actually 100% accurate on these. These are not just us talking our random opinions. They're factual based. So I think the secret of this project is, number one, the entire team here is doxxed. Everything we're doing is public. Everything we do has our name and our reputations on the line. Okay. Number two is we want the community input. We want the community input. We want everybody on board with what we're doing. You're not going to see that from other projects. Other projects already have all this stuff planned out before they even launch. What we've done here is so incredibly unique. There's no roadmap for how to do it this way. And we're creating the roadmap on how to do it this way. So it's really exciting. I can't wait to see where all this is going to go. And like I said, I think, I had somebody, maybe tell Cassie this, but somebody came in my DMs the other day and was like, oh yeah, like, we understand Cassie's just, she's just in there because she's a pretty face. But no. Cassie's the most strategic, thorough person I've ever been around. Like, she knows exactly what she's doing, and she's not here because she has a pretty face. If you can tell by everything she's talking about, she has such a great plan for what we're going to do. And everybody needs to show her a lot of respect, for sure, and give her a lot of thanks, because she is really the engine that's been driving this project. Well, I am the pretty face.
Thank you, Ben. Actually, and everybody has been wonderful. Like, so far, anyway, everyone's been great. All right. So pretend you live in the Midwest of the US and don't use social media. How would a person like that find this coin? How do we bring adoption to those types of people? Well, that's exactly what we're building. We're working on that. And a big part of what we're doing is partnerships. This be everywhere now. You can only get so far by yourself. So when it comes to integration, and because of the platform that we have, there are plenty of projects that want to partner. Now, obviously, we're not going to partner with all of them. There's a screening process there, but it's a good plan, I promise. I think you guys will like it when it's all laid out. Who are the developers of BenCoin? Can you list the names of those developers? What are those use cases and utility that will support the adoption by mere individuals in the future? Okay, so Russ is our lead technical lead. Yeah. I mean, he developed he put the website together for us, and he's overseeing development. And also kind of touching on what Ben was saying as far as his experience. I know there are some people in the chat who have also been in crypto for a long time, who work in the crypto industry. Someone actually commented, and I'll touch back on that comment after this call, but he was basically saying like, well, why is it taking you guys so long to get things updated? It should only take like a day. We did explain that earlier, why there's been such a hang up. But if you are experienced, if you're a developer, it doesn't matter what your skill set is. If you work in crypto and you're experienced and you're confident in your abilities, hit me up. Again, this is a community driven project. We're bringing people in, like, and that's how actually one of our advisors, he bought into BenCoin. He had purchased when it initially launched, and then ended up getting into some of the other Ben.eth projects. And he approached us and was like, yeah, like, I want to submit my resume to be an advisor. So if you want to join the team, if you want to work with us, if you want to help us build this, like, reach out. This isn't just us, right? We're not, yeah, I mean, it would help. I mean, for sure. How will you address the issue of whale wallets that are allegedly selling, suppressing? That's just not something we can do. The market maker will assist with that, with the price stabilization, but
yeah, and real quick, I just want to touch on the market maker stuff. Because as you guys know, like, we've talked about this a lot. Like, we had these investors in place, we were ready to roll, and then we had someone who did a large transaction, and then the medbots just ate it up, and we realized, okay, we need to put in a market maker in place. The market maker, what they're going to do is they're going to balance out, like, the medbots. They're going to balance out sells. They're going to make it where basically the buys help the project out more, and the sells don't hurt the project as much. So that's kind of what the market makers are in place for. I think I'm gonna have to go. I think we're gonna take off here in just a second.
Okay.
So glad I was able to be on here for an hour, and Cassie, appreciate you for doing this. Mike, thanks for being on as well, and to all the other mods, we appreciate all of you. We appreciate everybody that's in this project, and guys, we're not going to let you down, no matter where this price goes in the short term. Just understand, we are building something that is bigger than all of us. And we're building something, we have to do it together. So really encourage you guys to, be positive. Just understand that it doesn't matter if it takes a year, it doesn't matter if it takes 6 months, it doesn't matter if it takes 2 years. This is happening. This is our main focus. So focus on other stuff as well. Obviously, I have a channel. This is our main focus right now, and we're gonna continue to build. And I'm gonna take off. Up only. See y'all later.
Thanks for coming, Ben. Talk to you later.
Good travels.
Safe travels. Yeah, I think he did.
I was like, what happened?
He's like, bye now. And he cut everything off.
Shuts the whole thing down.
You picked the wrong
What a
option.
great turnout. It was a great turnout, though.
Yeah, we have had a pretty good turnout. I appreciate everyone who actually comes and listens. And, there's been so much going on lately, and I know communicating with the community is so important. And that's something that we discussed at length during the division meeting, because it's the same with them. I pop in and out of Telegram as I can. I've got so many freaking chats, and I use so many different systems depending on who I'm talking to, that it's just been really hectic. But moving forward, and this falls under kind of the community engagement initiatives, we're going to get some systems in place to make that process easier. And I'm currently in the process of, I'm looking for a place in Atlanta. So I'll be moving up to Atlanta where Ben is, and we'll have the studio. And we were talking about like doing like weekly vlogs, talking about like what we've been working on. We really have to write a line though, and this is something I realized pretty early on, and actually we're seeing in the chat already. I'll say something, or we'll be talking about something, and people who aren't listening, or like literally did not read anything but maybe a keyword in the sentence, will start talking, and then immediately information starts being, misconstrued. And so with a lot of, and especially with Dubai, part of the reason I haven't been very vocal about the meetings we've had over there is the deal's not done until it's done, right? There's a lot of options. We're looking at a lot of partnerships right now. There's a lot of good things on the horizon, but the last thing I want to do is say something about it and then maybe there's a hiccup, maybe there's timelines. We're working with other people too. That's the thing. It's not just us, and there's a lot that goes into each one of these relationships. And so I don't want to mislead the community or give people the wrong impression or, that's part of the reason why we haven't been so vocal lately. But as these things start to, come together, it'll be easier to announce them. And because there's so much stuff in the pipeline right now, it'll probably all hit like one after the other. Okay, so back to questions.
Oh,
3,
sorry, can I
4.
cut? Sorry. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, yes, I'm Lithia, so from the moderation team. I just wanted to tell you, so we did a vote earlier, so there was 55% yes and 45% no on 144 votes for the should we go on V2 for Uniswap. So yeah,
right.
This one was taken down because there was a lot of further going on. So I deleted the votes, but that was just to get a sentiment about if you feel like we should go for the V2 or not.
Okay. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So in a couple weeks, we're going to circle back around to this. In between now and then, I'm going to put together a formal proposal. I feel like there's a lot of stigma that because there are other projects, I think SafeMoon was one of them, that have switched to V2 and then immediately had issues. We are not SafeMoon. What we're building is very different from what SafeMoon was building. And I feel like it's important that people have the information available to them as far as like, okay, look, these are the restrictions we're dealing with now. If we switch to V2, these are the new options that we will have moving forward. It'll also allow when we do eventually switch over to a DAO, when it comes to community initiatives and people are going in to vote. I know people aren't a fan of taxes right now, but maybe in 3 years, right? Or depending on what's going on politically or wherever the community as a whole wants to put their money, maybe at some point it does make sense to add like a 3% tax. So there's more funds available to accomplish whatever the objective is. So there's a lot of benefits to switching to V2. I'm not saying we're going to do taxes. That's just an example of one of the things that we couldn't do right now if we wanted to. So we will provide like a document or a write-up in Telegram with all the information, and then you can vote.
That also slows down the bots.
Hi,
Yeah,
can you guys hear me?
Sorry,
Hello?
what was that?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. So yeah, just an introduction. Yeah, I hold above 0.5% supply. I've been buying since 100 mil, rode all the way up and down. So anyways, investment going down doesn't matter to me at all. The point I want to make here is I've been working with exchanges for a very long time. I was personally involved in all of Pepe listings since Mexi up till Binance. I knew the team. I was working with them. So we didn't pay a single token to any exchange for Pepe apart from Mexi, since it was one of the earliest exchange. Yeah. So I don't really understand the fact why the exchange listings are this low. I mean, I can personally open up a hobby. They list for free OKX. They don't charge a single fee. Whenever you go to these exchange votes, they're always botted. I mean, I don't know if these guys are working it. There is noise coming from someone. Anyways, so exchange votes, they're always botted. It wasn't from the fact that there is terrible noise from someone else. Exchange votes, yeah, they're always botted. NYM, I mean, I definitely saw it coming. I mean, it always happens in all these exchange votes. You pay an X amount to a certain company, yeah, and they'll bot the vote for you. It only costs like 25, 50 grand just to win an exchange vote. So it happens all the time. So, I mean, I didn't expect this thing from the team. I mean, they didn't, I couldn't basically digest the fact that the team didn't saw this thing coming. Moving on, market makers, yeah. So you guys keep on saying that MEV bots are an issue right now. Market makers, they cannot resolve that. Market makers, what they can do on on Uniswap, they can front run. Okay, they can front run your buyers. They can back run the cells. Okay, so there is less damage on the chart. I understand that part, but you cannot compete with MEV bots because they run on high gas fees. They would always beat your market makers. I've been working with, I mean, I'm part of, let's say, 50 plus projects. Every other day, I'm listing different projects and introducing them to market makers. The last one more thing, so you guys are mentioning market makers right now. You guys are listed on 4 different exchanges. I don't know what's the number exactly. Yeah, how exchanges profit from the tokens? What they do is basically they front run buyers. Okay, so if the exchange is market making the token themselves, they would always front run the buyers on this own sex, and they would profit from that. I mean, we work with projects that want to make money. So what they do is, with their market makers, they front run the normal transactions and they profit from that. So if you guys are not running market on exchanges yourselves, basically the exchanges are making money off the token. So first thing that you need to do is apart rather than getting the market maker set up on Uniswap, first get it done on sexes first. So basically you can minimize the damage over there and then you work on towards Uniswap. And the map thing I've personally never seen. I mean, I've been working with market makers for a long, long time, and we haven't been able to resolve this issue. I mean, you cannot compete with them.
Yeah, no, I mean the medbots are only that's one reason. The need for a market maker has more to do with stabilizing the price action on Uniswap. Now, it sounds like you have a ton of experience. I'd love to chat with you if you're interested in contributing and helping us build the project. But it also sounds like you just gave me a bunch of reasons. As I said earlier, exchange listings are not a huge part of our priority list right now. We have been pursuing a few because that's what the community wanted initially, but it's becoming very clear that that is not where our energy should be focused. We've got, as far as like our roadmap and what we're doing, this is something that no other project has attempted to do, at least to my understanding. And we have a lot of other things that are going to take priority over exchange listings. But it sounds like you have a ton of experience. I'm happy to chat with you. And feel free to jump into my DMs. I'm also on Twitter if you're interested in contributing some of your knowledge to, getting Ben built.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I've tried reaching out, filled out the form, but it's not something. I mean, my personal concern is whatever I've invested in the token. I mean, it doesn't matter. Basically, you only invest what you are willing to lose in crypto. So whatever I've invested, I'm ready to. I mean, even if it goes to zero, it's at least 100 grand plus. I think I don't even remember the number because I keep buying and buying. Anyways, so yeah, would love to help. Our expertise is exchange listings and market makers. We can definitely introduce you to our market makers. And this the one more thing that I forgot to mention earlier, Dex tool updates and all these sites. I mean, we would normally, if you want to get Dex tools updated, you pay a fee of 0.5 ETH, and they update it for you instantly. It doesn't take that much time. I mean, within the day. So if you need help on that side, we can help as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I will definitely reach out to you. So the big thing with Dex tools, there are several websites that are outdated. I mean, literally while we were in Dubai, we changed the Telegram group. So there's like everything needs to be updated at this point. We didn't immediately jump to updating Dex tools because of that. Right now, we're putting together a spreadsheet with every exchange, everything that needs to be updated. Some of the websites have like descriptions. We want everything to match across the board. So it's a matter of efficiency at this point. But we should have all those changes submitted, I imagine, by the end of, definitely within the next week to week and a half.
Okay. The problem with crypto is, Cassie, I mean, I don't know how long you've been working in the shitcoin or this space. I mean, Ben's is a different thing, but so we work in the shitcoin space, basically, whatever you call. So thing is, everything is paid. If you want to update CMC, you pay, let's say, $2,000, $1,500. Everyone has different prices. Fast track update happens within 24 hours. Dex tools 0.5 ETH happens instantly. So nothing's for free. If you're gonna apply directly, basically fill the forms and not pay anything, they're not gonna basically look at your forms and stuff. Everything is paid at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. All right, guys. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'll just say what's next on the agenda.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, this may be a question for you, Mike. When do you think the official Join BenCoin Spanish Telegram will be launched?
We're looking to build out the language communities. We've launched the French group not long back, so we've got more and more people joining that. The issue that we've got at the moment with opening more language groups is obviously we need more native speakers to be able to run those groups. So if anybody is interested in coming forward and helping out with that, DM me, Aiming High, or any of the other mods, and we'll have a little chat and see how we can get that moving. But yeah, I think the Spanish group was, I say Spanish speaking group was next on the list after the French group. So stay tuned on that one.
Perfect. And actually, I will take some time today and go through. Well, I believe Aiming High was also going through them. But the ambassador questionnaires, I believe we have some people in there who are native Spanish speakers. So I can check on that. Let's see here.
Come put your shoes on. Nuh's in the car by himself. Come put your shoes on now.
Hot Mike.
Yalla, Baba.
I think you're
Don't ask me any more questions. Can you come?
I can't find it. Okay. More information about Ben's staking. What staking rewards can we expect? When can we expect the app to go live? 2, what percentage of the funds raised from the Dubai coin sale will be donated to the Ben team and used to buy Ben? So, to my knowledge, currently, a total of 5% of the pre-sale funds will be used to buy Ben at market. Half of that will be donated back to the Ben team and put into the treasury. As far as Ben's staking, still.
I'll snack on hard-boiled eggs, just the egg whites.
Right, I'm just having to remove people now.
Thank
sorry.
Well, can we just mute him?
Yeah, I think because you opened the VC, you're the only one that can mute it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll get him next time.
I'll fight it. You carry on.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you can just click on them and it'll drop down. You can choose to mute them if they're too loud.
Okay. As far as staking rewards, we're still building that out. There will be. So with the partnerships, one of the partnerships that we're working on right now, and this one has been in the works for a while. I can't disclose who they are or what we're doing. They themselves have not launched yet. They were very successful in Web 2, sold their company to, it's hard because I want to tell you guys everything. Like there's so many exciting things coming up. And so they were very successful. They have not launched theirs yet. So they will be integrated into our DApp. And when it comes to so if you hold Ben, and this isn't even a staking benefit specifically, you don't necessarily have to stake your coins, at least at this point in development. Maybe we'll find a reason that you do at some point. But with these guys, what we're trying to build out for Ben holders is a benefits package, right? So there'll be, and it'll depend on our partners. I'm talking to some really great like beyond Web3 companies who are interested in working with us and are willing to provide and want to provide benefits to our community specifically. So as we get those things integrated, it's going to be, whether or not staking is required, there's there's going to be a lot of benefits to just being a holder. On the staking side, like I mentioned with the partnerships, if we're doing something with another coin or, you know, whatever, ideally we're going to put together some kind of arrangement to where they're providing coins that you guys can then earn on the platform. Now, it's difficult because with obviously Ben is a huge public figure. Everybody knows who he is. And we get approached by a lot of people. I think I spent the day before I flew out to Dubai, I had 8 phone meetings like throughout the day in Google Meet. And I'm working on a process to kind of like narrow those down, but there's so many applications that come in, and really at this point it's a matter of going through those and trying to figure out, you know, okay, like how can we integrate with a partnership with this company in some way. But with every one of those, I am adamantly pushing for you guys to receive benefits. There's a lot of people that are approaching just because they want Ben on their, you know, they want Ben promoting what they're doing. And that's not going to cut it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'll just say from being behind the scenes that Cassie has been working extremely hard for everybody on all these, and you guys are going to be really excited with what she's putting together. You know, she's pretty much taken on a lot of it on her own, and she's doing an awesome job. So yeah,
we did last night as well, didn't we, Matt? We kind of had to shout at her a little bit because she needs to sort of try and spread the workload out, because she's doing 19 hours a day at least. It must be. So yeah, but we've had the word with her. So yeah.
I think it's finally catching up with me. So Ben was sick. It was the same day that I woke up sick, and he was out for 36 hours. Like I didn't hear from him at all that day. That was actually the day before the buy vote. And I didn't get hit as hard as he did, but I'm still feeling it. Like I woke up sick today and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I need to. Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. I need to get better at delegating. I've never been very good at it. So I'm working on that.
And if you guys have no idea how lucky we are to have her out there, you know, pushing forward for us, because if anybody cares about Ben and the Ben Nation more, it's Cassie. So, you know, everybody make sure to thank Cassie and look forward to all the stuff she has in store for us coming up soon. So,
thanks, guys. It's very sweet. Yeah, I cannot fail. That's the thing so Ben cannot fail. He will not fail. And I'm the same way. So you're in good hands, I promise. Well, it's a pretty serious question. Would you go out on a date with me when we hit 1 billion market cap?
Is this to me?
So
yeah, Mike, you available, Mike?
So I've actually sworn off dating or anything that could potentially distract me from what we're building here until at least a 3 million market cap. 3 million or 3 billion market cap. So it's gonna be a while.
So all you guys out there, hurry up, you know, spread the word. Let's get this chart way up.
Yeah, we got a ways to go. We are experiencing a new scandal related to Ben every 3 days. When do you plan to put a stop to this? So, all right, give me just a second.
What was the question? When do we have a chance to stop all the scammers?
It's a bit lengthy. I'll read the whole thing out. So it says we are experiencing a new scandal related to BenCoin every 3 days. When do you plan to put a stop to this? When do you plan to act wisely? Why do we constantly see Bitcoin engaging in fights with other groups and individuals? If you want to increase the value of BenCoin, the solution is simple. Just focus on BenCoin, increase your circle of friends, and decrease your number of enemies. Concentrate solely on BenCoin. I don't believe your explanation that people do buy coin will buy Ben from the market. It's not convincing. If that's the case, they should buy Bitcoin and airdrop it instead. That doesn't make any sense. If you're using the BenCoin community and the value of BenCoin for something unknown like Dubai, which is absurd, give up on these. Focus solely on BenCoin if you truly want its value to increase, and do not give away our money for free to anyone. Ben.eth did this before with airdrops. Ben, and what happened? The value of BenCoin became trashed. in conclusion, do not give away BenCoin to anyone for free. This is not your money. It is everyone's money. So I think this person, I mean, obviously it's very upset. But I don't think they quite understand what we're doing here. I do agree with a lot of this. I mean, the conflict is too much, and that's something that, when we were in Dubai and the rogue mod came into the Telegram group, right, and was posting about that other coin, and it's, yeah, that drama is getting old. And part of the reason that has continued to be a thing is because, I mean, that would be one of the benefits of going to V2. We have a lot of baggage here. Now it's still doable. We can still do everything that I have planned out with this contract. So don't feel like it's, I'm not saying that we have to go to V2, but there is a lot of baggage here. As far as, Ben is no longer engaging with Ben.eth, that's over. I think when it comes to, so there's been kind of a lesson, I would say, it's not surprising though. And actually, the gentleman that was in here just a little bit ago, Alpha Alt Account, had mentioned, he said everything in crypto costs money. Just because you submit the form to get information updated, they're not going to look at it. There's definitely a learning curve in crypto. It's not as straightforward as it would seem. It's not Web 2, essentially. And so that has been a thing. As far as, with Bybit, for the vote, we had a conversation with them. They had actually asked us they said, stop telling your community members to come in and FUD in our chat. And which to me just kind of blew me away and actually reminded me of a conversation I had with Ben.eth when I was talking to him, and he was saying he had no plans for his projects. And he's like, I was bringing up all these concerns and all these issues, like very legitimate. And he said, stop FUDding. There are some things in crypto that are just apparently a thing. It's just expected. I didn't think that vote was, that competition was going to be botted. We were told by Bybit that it wouldn't be botted. And even though I sent all the screenshots over and I was like, okay, well, you guys it's within their terms of service that they can be disqualified, they didn't do it. So really, I think a big part of this is going back to, my invitation for Alpha Alt Account to jump into my DMs to talk. If you have experience in building a project and getting these things going, let's talk. Like, give me the rundown, because Ben was upset because of the cheating. Whereas it's, in some degree, it's like, well, but it's crypto. Of course people are cheating. The best way to overcome the conflict and kind of get past those, and I did talk to Ben, as far as having those conversations behind closed doors and not necessarily going on Twitter, and he's on board with that. So that shouldn't be an issue moving forward, but it's having realistic expectations. So if you have information, hit me up. If you want to help out, hit me up. Like, this is open to everybody. We're going to make this into something huge, and it doesn't matter what it takes. If you think there's a way that you can contribute that's going to help us bypass some of these pitfalls and some of these issues, then please, reach out. As far as the not believing that, that they're going to buy Dubai coin for market, I can't really say anything to that. They're going to. We have met Wolfie in person. He's legitimate. He's a nice guy. Let's see.
Right.
Okay.
By the way, on the Bybit thing, somebody was sharing a screenshot that they had like 27K in volume after it got listed. So
yeah,
hopefully, Bybit's main, motivation behind listing is obviously getting fees from trading. So hopefully, they don't just take it from Ben Nation kind of complaining and saying, hey, this is unfair. And, it didn't really benefit them. So.
Yeah, they were very, Ben is Ben, and no one can tell Ben what to do. I try to, I have conversations with him about things, and my thoughts on things, and that seems to help with any shock or or any extreme feelings. But Ben got where he is because of who he is. I realize not all of those skills and attributes transfer well to the business side of things. And so when it comes to partnerships and things like this, I mean, typically I'm going to be dealing with them, working with people moving forward. The partnerships Ben sends over to me, so I have the chance to screen him and talk to him and ask him questions. Now, the situation with Wolfie is a little bit different because we met him in Dubai and I've been slammed. They've been talking, but I will be having a conversation with Wolfie. Yeah, it's a lot of this is systems, you guys. Like it's just getting the systems down and we're almost there. Okay, so the logos. Is there an investigation underway for the dumping and price suppression by those connected with Ben.eth? You can see it just by looking at Etherscan. Can MevBots and certain addresses wallets be banned in the Ben smart contract? I don't believe we can ban, and that maybe it is typically something you can do, but because we don't have ownership of the contract.
Yeah, if there's a function to blacklist, you can ban the wallets, but banning, just to say to that person, as far as I've seen, there's nobody that was offloading that has a significant amount left. So I think most of it's pretty much over. And blacklisting is kind of a slippery slope because then people get a little bit nervous about investing. If there's a possibility, hey, I might do some trades or something, they don't like it. So you never really want to do that. So I think we're pretty much, in the clear for the most part with that anyways.
I think so too.
Try as well, isn't it? Soon enough.
I mean, we're sitting on a really good support right now, and I think if anybody, it's just been super strong still. So I don't think it's a worry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you
Go
there.
ahead, Mike.
And as far as Ben.eth's people, I don't really pay attention to him. And if you are, I would suggest maybe not. When I talk to him about the projects, this is when I was trying to negotiate sending back the loyalty LP. When they sent us the loyalty LP, there was like 4 Ethereum or something ridiculous, and it was all loyal. That was it. And I was like, nope, we are not doing this. And we immediately, as soon as we got it, we immediately put Ethereum in there, and I was like, this is, yeah. So I had a phone conversation with him to negotiate. Well, I wanted to get his big picture and kind of get an idea of where he was taking everything, so I could figure out a way to negotiate a separation that would be beneficial for both, which to me, separating and cutting ties on both sides was the best thing that we could have done, aside from not have gotten involved with him in the first place. And he told me that his entire game plan for all of his coins is essentially just the attention economy. He wants your attention, whether it's good or bad.
You want your
so ETH. Yeah. And I mean, he's losing that platform slowly. People are getting tired of him. So I wouldn't worry too much about his buddies like dumping. And if they do dump, great. I'd rather they walked out of here at a loss than, after we get everything established and the price starts going up. Like, it's just more opportunity to buy. What are your personal expectations about BenCoin in the coming bull run? No financial advice, but love to hear your professional opinion since you know the market better than a lot of us. Possible all-time high or market cap? I don't really want to answer that question.
No.
I think it puts too much focus on the price, and also if we switch to, I mean, I can tell you that during the next bull run, I think we'll, but at that point, we should be meeting some of our initiatives as far as education. We'll be out in the community. We'll have community groups. We'll be doing the in-person, crypto 101 courses. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity there. And essentially how we're designing that setup is, so here's an example. So whenever I go to conferences or Ben and I travel, of course I take an Uber pretty much everywhere. And so every Uber driver, I'll end up talking to him And I'll usually ask them how their area has changed since COVID, because that's always like a really interesting conversation. And it's usually for the worse. Since COVID, and this is in the States, by the way, since COVID, things usually get worse. And then we'll kind of talk a little bit about politics, and we'll talk about what's going on with the government. And that's when I will segue into crypto. And every Uber driver I've talked to in the last 4 months has at the end of the ride been like, yeah, man, like I want to learn more. Like, where can I learn more about crypto? There's literally no single point online that I could send him that isn't going to be way over his head or just be completely overwhelming. And even the people that I've talked to, you know, a buddy of mine who has worked in tech for 20 years asked me to get, you know, to help him get set up in crypto. It took me 2 hours to set up MetaMask with him, just to walk him through the process. Like, now that you're here and you're comfortable and you feel like you know what you're doing, I think we get we're comfortable in that. We feel it's like, well, it's MetaMask, it's not that hard. But if you remember how difficult it was to initially get in, like, you really had to put time into it. And as janky as MetaMask is, it's like, you know, when it displays the numbers wrong, there's so many things that there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of responsibility, and most people are not used to that. They have their money in the bank, right? They know their money's in the bank. You know, don't lose your debit card. That's basically it. Whereas with crypto, it's like, hey, here's this really complex string of words, and if you lose it, you could potentially lose all the money in there. You know, that's a lot for a lot of people to handle. And so, and not to mention how glitchy everything is. So part of what we're going to be doing, and this could be a wallet partnership, maybe we'll build our own wallet, but we're going to provide that initial, basically, funnel, right? An initial page, whether it's an app or a website, that will expose them to the information and then give them the option to either do like an online intro to crypto course, or more importantly, and where I think all of the value is really going to be, is in attending a crypto course in their community. Because there's so much more value in being in a room with other people, especially if they're your neighbors, right? And being able to talk about these things. This is the perfect time. People are actually feeling the effects of inflation. They're actually feeling the effects of all the international, like, just everything going on. The world is a mess right now, and specifically in the US. And so we have like the perfect opportunity to start onboarding people, but we have to address a lot of other issues, kind of like we were talking about with Telegram. I don't feel comfortable onboarding people to Telegram. When Davies, when the scammer that was pretending to be Davey wrote me, I responded. I thought it was Davey until he asked me for like 4 ETH. And I was like, Davey would never ask me for 4 ETH, you know? But for people that are just getting involved, like, the last thing you want is for them to get scammed. Like, and there have been a few Uber drivers I've talked to over the last few years where that's their crypto's a scam. Why do they think it's a scam? Because they got scammed. Right? This is going to be their first, outside of like, you know, media and maybe what they've heard from friends or family, first impressions are huge. And so we don't want people coming into a platform like Telegram or Discord or even Twitter, you know, where scammers are running rampant, because if those people get scammed, it is going to affect their opinion of crypto forever. We will never get them back.
Right. And then they spread that misconception.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Right. I mean, this is very, very Web 2 business sense, right? We are incorporating the mindset and basically all the Web 2 knowledge into what we're doing in Web 3. Now, unfortunately, that means we have to build a lot of that out because it doesn't exist. But we want to make it easy for people to get involved. When it comes to the DApp, one of the things we'll be doing there is providing various, and I'm still debating this. Like, we may do this through partnerships with existing builders. One of the initiatives that I really wanted to focus on in building this was providing exposure for builders who, you know, it's crazy. Like, some of the Web3 apps that I've used, and it's like you go to Twitter and they've got like 1,500 followers, if that. These are the people that are actually building things. right? But then you've got people who do Twitter Spaces and really don't say anything and just talk for no reason, and they've got, you know, way more. They've got substantially more. And so I really want to provide exposure to the people that are out there building, especially if they're willing to help us put together a platform that essentially has like a one-stop shop, right? All the best things as far as, I mean, peer-to-peer, not peer-to-peer trading, maybe peer-to-peer lending. Then there's also like collateralizing your coins. Hyperbolic, I believe is the name of a platform that is doing that for us, for Ben. And they just decided to do it. But we want all of those tools to be in one spot. So ideally, when we onboard people and we have them in this community space, and then we have a DApp that has everything that they could possibly need, and we know it's safe. So that's not to say that they can't go out into the crazy world of crypto and use Uniswap or, you know, or Explore, but they have a space that they can stay in if they want. It's just like some people never actually leave, you know, like Coinbase or centralized exchanges. Well, there's problems with those too. And we want to pull people out of that. We want to give them exposure to crypto. We want to bring them into crypto. And we want to empower them with actually holding their coins and making those decisions without exposing them to threats. Sorry, I got off. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah, that's definitely a big thing is self-custody. And like you said, it's really scary to try to tackle that, especially if, you know, maybe you're a bit older and you're not used to tech in the first place. So who knows, we might get big enough one day to where community members can actually be available to help people with stuff, you know, in a limited capacity. Just, you know, people have questions or need help with something. So I think it's all about kind of everybody pushing this forward together and being able to help others. So, you know, we could have a community chat or forum section too built into it, to where, you know, we have trusted people who have gone through certain trainings to help with things. So
yeah, I think that's a phenomenal idea. I mean, this really is community driven, and right now we have the tech division and we have a content creation division. Those are essentially like supporting divisions for the 4 pillars. Ultimately, I mean, this is the thing, like people in crypto, it's like, first of all, typically when you have a conversation with somebody about crypto, it's like you're speaking Latin, right? And it can be very frustrating, or, you know, maybe eventually you just stop talking to people about crypto. You only talk to people who, you know, are into crypto, about crypto. We want to provide the tools and basically whatever's necessary because all the people I know, myself included, crypto is a mind virus for me. I will never forget the day I understood how much smart contracts will change the current world and our processes, like on a business, like everything is going to change. And it's also very difficult. So that day though, okay, so I spent 2 hours trying to find a document or like an article or something online that would explain it to me, just like basic, right? And it was very difficult. It was actually, I finally found something, and it was an article. It was an article where the author was interviewing Mark Cuban, and Mark Cuban gave the perfect example, and he was talking about essentially having data readers that, like for farmers, for farming insurance, right? When drought season comes along, having this data collected that determines like, okay, there was this much rainfall, or there, you know, whatever. And then that is communicated to a smart contract that automatically releases insurance funds, right? Based on the plan to the farmer. Like there's no middleman there. There's no person involved. And we're going to do that with real estate. We can do that with so many things. We can already do that with so many things. But the amount of time, 2 hours, like so many articles, trying to understand it. And I realized that after the fact, I was like, the reason none of these articles that are supposed to be explaining what smart contracts are, the reason I don't understand anything they're saying is because the author themselves does not understand what a smart contract is. they're just giving me the technical jargon. You can't simplify it, then you don't really understand it. And so that was huge for me. But it also brought awareness to, like, it's like, no wonder people are so confused about crypto. You know, they're told that it's for drugs, or it's money laundering, or it's all scams. You know, they don't understand the technology behind it. And when we were in Dubai, some of the meetings, all the meetings, we had so many meetings. Some of the meetings that we had were with, like, for example, one of them was a real estate development company. And they were approaching us more from the angle of like, hey, can you guys help us build this, you know, platform that they, and, you know, as fun as that would be, it doesn't really tie into what we're doing right now. But eventually, when we get down the road, once the structure is established, that is something we want to offer. We want to have, and they could be partnerships, it could be an internal team, it could be, we want to make it easy for business owners to incorporate crypto, to accept crypto, to build a system of their own, you know, to use NFTs for points, for whatever. Like, be everywhere now means everywhere. And the only way adoption is going to happen is if we get, like, we have to bring people on board. And so, yes, so the big thing is simplifying that. Sorry, guys, I lost my, I went on a tangent there, but
I'm just going to jump in. I've got to fly, guys.
Okay. Thank you for coming out, Mike.
Yeah. So, hey, no worries, no worries. I'll still be in chat later on. So if anyone's got any questions or anything like that, I'll pop back in shortly. But yeah, thanks very much, guys, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yep. Talk to you soon. Thanks, Mike.
I won't close, Mike. I won't close the PC.
So let's see here. What is this? Hides are going to be an airdrop BenCoins to loyal holders at some stage. And is there ever going to be a burn of supply? Kind regards. No, we will not be airdropping any BenCoins to loyal holders. What is the status of the partnership with Drake? So this is one of those things, and this is why I was saying I don't like talking about things until it's set. You know, there was some discussion. I submitted a proposal. I think I'm not sure if we've heard back yet or not. You know, it's one of those things. I'll follow up with Ben and see if he's heard anything, but there's nothing on the table yet that I'm aware of. When will the big buys start to come in? Can we have a date roughly? So once the market maker is established, that'll be a good starting point as far as considering I'm still working out some of the details there on that. The primary investor that we're speaking with has a few other friends who are also interested. And so kind of going back to one of the previous questions, although I guess he didn't ask the question like this, but these people that are going to be jumping in are going to be coming in as investors, and their coins will be vested for a period of time. They'll be market buys. They're not going to come in and dump. These are business deals. These are negotiations. So these will be formal, and you know we're putting a lot of thought into structuring them correctly. Can Ben token be successful in the future? Can it reach the all-time high? And one of the top 20 holders of BenCoin. Should probably reach out to this person and get them into the whale chat. Yeah, absolutely. BenCoin can be successful. That's why we're all here.
It's coming.
And I think that's everything. Yep, that's all the chat, all the questions that had been submitted prior to about a half hour before the AMA started. Have you seen? Did I miss any in the chat, Matt?
I don't know. I know from the meeting the other day. I don't know if there was. That was mostly for the team, but I'm not sure if there's anything in there.
Okay, I'll put all the count is in there. Yeah, guys, and just to go back to that, what the thing with the centralized exchanges, it's not our primary focus. these meme coins that come out, and so exchanges, and he mentioned it when he was talking, exchanges make money off the trading volume, right? So that's why coins like Pepe or Shiba or any of those, that's why exchanges are like, oh yeah, come on here. We're actually building something. We're not a meme coin. So
Right.
my focus is on getting that foundation down so we can start executing initiatives and start actually doing things. And it's difficult right now because when it comes to providing updates, a lot of this stuff I don't really want to talk about until we get things going. I don't want to make any promises or, set expectations, and that, who knows, maybe they change, maybe we have different agreements. But I'm also not going to push for just like hype stuff like this. Like Ben said, like our high was before we were announced on Bybit, right? It wasn't after. So I don't understand why. I mean, I get it to some degree, but that really shouldn't be the focus. If you're frustrated with the price, or if you feel like we could be doing something better, reach out to me, get involved. We're working on kind of a system for people in the community. We're still kind of building it out. If you have any ideas, awesome. Like, I've given you kind of an overview of what we're hoping to do. Again, this is community fueled. Like, we need everybody. And eventually we will get to a point where it's like, hey, there's all these ways that you can help out. And so there really shouldn't be any complaining in Telegram. Like, if you want to be a part of what we're building, if you want to be a part of something bigger and you want to contribute to pumping your own bags,
Right.
then get involved.
Right. And there's nothing else out there like this right now. I mean, where you can get involved and help, form and shape the movement that's happening right now. So I'm excited. I know that, I know where price is going to be in a year or two from now. So, we're definitely still looking at exchanges, and Ben's in talks with them, and it's not like that's on the back burner. But what we're doing is building out the foundation, like Cassie said, and we're getting everything set up right now. It's so we have something to build off, and we're going to definitely get to where we plan to be, which is a top 50 coin. And that takes some work to put in, and that's what we're doing right now.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, even when it comes to the tokenomics, the way they are now, no, they're not ideal. Like 420.69, I mean, that is a meme. But even if the community did not want to switch to V2, we can work with what we have. We have a lot to leverage. Ben is a huge name, and we can work out creative ways to make sure that, to make sure that partners are actually investing in the project, or this is long term. So I just saw, it looks like this part of the AMA is not being recorded. Well, I will put together a summary of this for those who did not attend, because it did end up being, we're going on like 2 hours now. It did end up being long. If you have any questions, reach out to Aiming High or any of the moderators in the chat. And I think actually, just submit one of these forms. Submit the forms. The forms worked really well. I think we're going to start doing these more regularly. I'll talk to Ben and see what we can get sorted out as far as his schedule goes, because that's typically where we struggle is lining up dates and times. But even if he can't come in, I'm happy to come in and address the questions and keep you guys updated. Also, on the community question form that was submitted for this AMA, I had a section in there saying, if you want to be included on the BenCoin newsletter, leave your email here. There were also people in the other forms that had indicated they wanted to receive the newsletter. So if you want the newsletter, I'll try to get some kind of sign up or something set up. I am going to make that a higher priority, because I know people come into the Telegram and they have all these questions, and really it's just best to have, something that we can provide you with all the weekly updates versus going into the chat and asking. And I know other community members like get tired of seeing the same questions, so we need to jack up the efficiency there. I think that's everything though.
Yeah, I think that was a really good AMA.
Yeah, thank you. I wish I'd recorded this one. I thought this was recorded.
Well, more coming, guys. So
yeah,
stay tuned.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. See you in the chat.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Have a good one.
It was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.